It is October 9th. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good Sunday. Okay, here we go. Umbrella, light, landscape, sky. There is no language of the holy. The sacred lies in the ordinary. Deng Ming Dao, born 1954. Learning to chew good food slowly and consciously in silence seems beneath us or beyond us in early recovery. However, this is an example of how we exercise and strengthen our spirits. Addicts crave lives of excitement and extremes. Too much is just enough. The lines between self-indulgence and self-destruction get blurred. Mindfulness and meditation, with all electronic devices turned off, or a quiet evening and an early bedtime, are about as attractive to us intensity junkies as eating plain oatmeal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This dependence on intensity we seem to fall back on is not simply our nature. It is a coping mechanism. In the same way a movie can help us forget about our troubles for 2 hours, melodrama can help us avoid reality almost indefinitely. That is why we are ever mindful of substitute addictions. While it makes sense to know the difference between bad habits and deadly addiction, we can still see our avoidance techniques at work in all of our habits. At the end of our lives, if we were to see that instead of living them, we had been distracted by illusion and drama, wouldn't we feel robbed or shortchanged? When we are in constant search for the spectacular and we miss the nuances of the ordinary, our lives are passing us by. A real life hero changes diapers, sets up chairs in a meeting, and calls a friend whom they haven't seen for a while to say hello. Heroes show up on time, but nobody notices. Heroes make mistakes and learn from them. The sacred, referred to above, is connected with God's or goodness. We find connection to the ordinary, and it enriches our lives in a way that escapism and indulgence cannot. Today, can I find profundity in the simple? Just for today, can I find the happy moments in my own peace and quiet? I stopped doing this for a while, YouTube videos, because it did get addictive. It got addictive and it scared me. I think when I saw other YouTubers that were ExJWs falling apart, it made me really kind of just sit back and think, what am I doing? What's the purpose? And the purpose was, of course, to help people. But you can get easily addicted to this. And I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to say, okay, just leave it. Leave it. I think too, when they called me a brand, I'm not a brand, I'm a person. And I do this because other people like me are hurting. And I want to help, but I can't let it impede my own growth, right? I can't let it come between my growth. I have to be able to grow. In order to grow and help other people, I have to be able to understand things. Yeah, it scared me when other YouTubers were, ExJW YouTubers were, their families were falling apart. And the whole point of this is that I wanted my family to be together and stronger. So I stopped for a while and just kind of took my time in learning about addiction and what it was that I was getting involved with when it came to doing this, you know, like how it works and how YouTube is very addictive and how Facebook is very addictive and how Instagram and TikTok and how it's all connected. So being mindful of my behavior, and because I do have an addictive behavior, I have to be careful. I didn't want my family to suffer. So I stopped for a while and just was very mindful about what I was doing and why I was doing it. And it gives me a break. It gives me a break to learn that in that time that was that opening, it allowed me to just really take stock. That's it. Take stock of what I have and what I want to keep safe. So, yes, ordinary, right? Our lives, when we leave the organization, we live very ordinary lives at that point. Most of us haven't been able to live our dreams, so therefore we become very ordinary, and that is not what when we originally become Jehovah's Witnesses. We think we're going to be able to, you know, live a different life in a different world that isn't ordinary, right? We want something different. And now I realize ordinary is good. Ordinary is okay. Is contentment, enjoying life and being content. And that is what I really appreciate. And ordinary is beautiful. If you look around you, ordinary is very beautiful. It's just a matter of how you look at it. And not to rob ourselves, right? We're constantly addicted to the energy that comes from the fight, right? I remember growing up seeing my parents fighting all the time. And it was just a constant high almost. It was a constant high that would never leave our home. And it was hard for me when I lived with a very peaceful man. He wasn't he didn't argue with me. If I picked the fight, he was sure to end it. It was just a different life. So I'm grateful that I have someone who doesn't have that kind of energy. And it can seem kind of boring, but I had to get used to it. I had to get used to it. It wasn't boring. It was just not what the energy that I was used to. So I'm grateful that I don't have that anymore. It took a while to get used to because I was so used to bad habits in my home. Ordinary is good, and it does enrich our life, right? It can, we find connection in different ways, and that can bring peace. Peace and quiet. Well, it wasn't very quiet. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's kind of loud out here. I'm taking advantage of the leftover light. And we had a busy day. We went on a bike ride, and we doing honeydews and getting things done, and it's kind of hard to pack it all in. Sorry, it was a little bit late. But I hope that this helps you on your healing journey. And I hope you find peace in the ordinary. Follow your bliss and be good humans.